What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Phantom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike. And we are at long last discussing season 2, episode 1 of The Wheel of Time. So, the reason why we are just now getting around to recording season 2, episode 1, what had happened was when season 2 came out, when was this? Back in 2022, 2023? We had plans. We had plans to start recording. We actually tried to record the first episode. We had really bad weather here, and the recording was it was horrible. Like, there were cutoffs. The internet kept going out. Everybody's screen kept freezing. So we were like, okay, we're going to, stick a pin in this, as Anthony liked to say, and we're going to come back to it when the weather's not so bad. Then Conjuration happened. And we had a season 2 panel at Conjuration discussing the entire season 2 of Wheel of Time. Well, guess what? We all thought that we had already discussed this show on the podcast because of that discussion. And then we figured out we had it. And then everything under the sun was coming out. So it was just kind of like we're trying to stay up to date with current shows and still like, okay, we got to go back and do this. We got to go back and do this. So now that season 3 is literally around the corner, we were like, okay, I think it's a good time for us to revisit this season 2. So that's what we're going to do. But before we get into season 2, Mike was not with us on our discussion of the season 1 finale, and I know he probably has some thoughts. So, Mike, what did you think about the season 1 finale? And be brief.
To be brief, I knew it was Rand's bitch ass that was the fucking dragon. Why? That lame ass motherfucker. I hate him.
Why?
He's so lame. He's such a Egwene. And he just whines so that I can't do it with him. I just can't. I can't. But I'm glad they had their girls get it done moment at the end and destroyed everybody. That was cool as shit. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm scared that they have the horn now. I'm like, that sneaky motherfucker. Ooh.
You talking about Padan Fain?
Yes, that motherfucker creeps me the fuck out.
He does now. Like when we first met him in the first episode.
Right. Yeah, not. But now I'm like, oh hell no.
It might be a little off with him, but I didn't think he was like a dark friend or anything like that, as we've discovered. But yeah, now, especially him in this first episode, just the way he was looking at the little girl like this, I was like, dude.
No, sir. No, sir.
What the hell? So anyway, Anthony, your screen name. I'm so glad you put it there because I thought it was just me. Because I was like, the first time I watched this, was it this slow? And I think it was, because I think it took me like 3 times to get through the first episode of season 2, the first time I watched it. And then when I was watching it today, I was like, is it just me, or does it seem slow? Or is it just that because everyone is separated, it just felt that way? Because I kind of think that's part of it too, because you have Egwene and Nynaeve in the tower. You have Perrin out with Loyal looking for Padan Fain. You have Matt being held captive by the Red Aja. And then, we see one small glimpse of Rand wherever in the world he is. And I was like, wherever he is. And I was like, and then you got Moraine and Lan over here. I was like, maybe that's why it seems so slow, because you don't have the dynamic of them all being together. And it just
this episode seemed like it seemed like it was like end game long. I was like, but you felt it. I felt like, oh God, how long have I been watching this? But it's like I actually watched it again, and I'm like, I know all this, but why is it still taking? It takes longer when you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's like, oh God, it's like I swear it took 4 hours. I was just like sitting there. I watched half of it at work. I watched half of it here last night, and I finished it when I got back home today. I was like, damn, that shit took forever.
Here's some inside baseball. I texted Hanako, like, can we push it to 9:00? And the reason why I said that was Michelle wanted to watch it with me. Right? She didn't want to be in the podcast, but she likes the show. She wanted to watch it with me. And she ended up doing something. I was like, you know what? She said, no, never mind. You can go ahead and start without me. I said, cool. But I'm sitting here watching it, and I started regretting my life decisions. I
Mm-hmm.
really did. I was like, oh my God, I gotta watch it and then I gotta talk about it. But it's so slow. And then they try to fool you by giving you a little bit of action at the end. But no,
Right.
I got up, I went to the kitchen, fixed me a drink, went upstairs, said something to Bailey, said something to Michelle. I came back downstairs and Moraine was still talking to Belle. I was like, what? I left and
Why
they're
was she
still
talking to him that long?
talking.
I was like, oh my God, that shit
They're
is
She was
forever.
avoiding
still
talking to Lan.
right. And if I have to watch the sisters sit down and eat one more time, oh my God, what are we
If I,
doing?
Yeah, this
if I,
What are
and,
if
we
I
and
have
you
to,
know,
if
doing?
I,
I started wondering if that was also maybe the reason why we just never got around to it because okay, we've already seen the entire season. So we know what happens. We know that the action picks up. We know that the story picks up and all this other stuff, but it was just getting through this first episode, Lan and his abs notwithstanding, because that's what's on my background right now. But don't shake your head at me, Mike. Don't shake your head. Look,
no,
we are here complaining about the episode. That was the one bright spot. I was like, what's her name? Like, hey, I need you to step over to the left. Hey,
Yeah,
Lan.
she told move, move.
She was like,
Oh, it must.
step over to the left. Hey, Lan.
how
I
about
know it
how about
must be. What you
I
say?
love
I know it
Baron
must
and
be
Atlas.
so hot.
I love them. They were like they're like the golden. They're kind of like the Golden Girls. They're just like making jokes and like it's like two Blanches. They're fucking awesome.
Right.
Can you
Right.
imagine two blanches? Oh my God. Crazy.
One was enough, but okay. So let's talk about some stuff about this episode because Anthony, as the resident Wheel of Time book guru, you might have to answer some questions. And I know that they have done a lot of
I don't have no answers for you.
no,
I
it's not
really don't.
anything, it's not anything like deep or anything about like I just have certain questions. Okay, so the meeting that takes place at the very beginning with the dark one and the people sitting around the table, he refers to them as the chosen. I don't think we talked about them in the last season or they were brought up in the last season. So just kind of briefly, can you give a little like description of who the chosen are?
Okay, so I'm this is the issue with this show because I'm not sure if it was the Forsaken or just some of the main Dark Friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
Right.
they did kind of shadow their face. The only one that we knew was there for sure was Padan Fain, and we know
Huh.
somebody was there with some long ass fingernails, and then somebody
Mhm.
was there who had a little girl.
With,
So
without giving you, I'm just going to say the this would not be the Forsaken would not sit together and be so nice to each other.
okay, so they're
That
so it's
that's the
probably the
moment.
dark friends.
So it's really those are really just the dark friends.
Okay,
Those are probably the main dark friends.
okay.
I don't. I'm not sure how they're going to do the Forsaken in this show,
Mm-hmm.
but the way these people are sitting around, that's not a that's not really a Forsaken thing. And they show some rings,
Mm-hmm.
which might hint at some other group that exists, and then you see um some symbols of the
Sigils.
place where we were before, where all the Trollocs got wiped out.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are all dark friends. We
Okay.
see them, that Forsaken. They don't get along.
Okay.
They
Okay.
don't they don't like
They had some interesting jewelry choices. I gotta admit, some of the rings are fire. I was like, okay, I can
Well, I
actually
mean
get
the jewelry and the costume and just in the show in general,
in general. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
is
fire.
is really good.
yeah, but the rings are important
Oh,
They're symbolic. They mean
of
something.
of a particular group. Yes.
okay.
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 Jinx.
So the Forsaken were form a group of formerly Aes Sedai. They were the ones that caused the Dark One to come into the world. They
Oh.
joined the Dark
Mm.
One and they had to be put down. But they
You
were
said they're former Aes Sedai?
most of them, yes.
Okay.
They
Okay.
were because anyone in the past who was able to wield the one power
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
became Aes Sedai.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
if you remember in last season, Lewis Theron was talking to the leader of the women. Like he was the leader of the Aes Sedai.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because of what happened to the men, there are no male Aes Sedai anymore.
Right.
So some of the Forsaken used to be Aes Sedai. Um,
Sure.
and they were imprisoned with the Dark One.
Okay.
And
Mm.
Ishmael, this one,
Mm-hmm.
he somehow was out. But if you notice in that last episode where one of the doors to the prison cracked,
Mm-hmm.
so that's going to maybe allow some of the Forsaken to escape because they've been locked away too.
Ah. Okay.
Mm.
So, but they were his followers. He has given them access to an additional power, the true power,
Mm-hmm.
because right now I said only using one power, and then there's
Okay.
the true power.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, without giving away too much,
Okay.
I'm not sure how much I told you guys we talked about last season, how much y'all figured out, but that's safe enough to tell you.
Okay. Cool. All right, let's talk about these characters and what they have been getting up to. I will say this, as slow as this episode was, Moraine was getting on my last nerve. She just
Factual.
she really was. And I mean, I understand her state of mind. I understand what she must be going through as far as, this being a huge part of who she was, her being connected to the source, and she no longer is. She's not connected to Lan anymore in that way. The bond is broken. Or I won't say broken. It was masked and they can't lift it because of her not having access to the source. But I was like, Moraine, aside from these three people whose house you are just kind of holed up in for the last 6 months or so, you really are alone right now. You don't have your other sisters. You don't have the ambulance seat. Lan is really the only person there who has your back, who is your ride or die. And you are treating him like garbage. When I
She getting on
say,
his nerves too.
and he has the patience of a saint, because if
Yeah.
that is the way she's been treating him every day for 6 months, nah, I would have been like, you know what? We need some
Yeah.
mountains. I need to
It's
go.
it's like they're a married couple that has to stay together until one of them actually finds another place to stay, and it's like they're awkward, and she doesn't want anything to do with him, and he's like, I'm trying to be cordial. Then he's just like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah.
You come downstairs and get your own damn food.
I mean, and I can tell like she's trying to push him away, probably because of whatever this stuff is that she's doing. So she meets with this sailor who tries to bring her a piece of that. What is the stone called? I can't.
Quindar.
Quindar brings her a piece of that, thinking he about to make some money. Because if she's talking about she can go get a prized racehorse for 5 marks, he was asking her for 50. That probably would have made him rich.
Mm-hmm.
And then he offers her this poem for 5 marks. And then she was like, for a poem. And he was like, okay, I'll mark it down. I give you the poem for $1, but I'm not budging on the rock. She's like, okay. She gives him the mark and she takes the poem. She was like, that's all I need. So the thing about the stone, is that the same stone that the prison was made out of in the last episode?
Yes.
And it's supposed to be a really strong stone, is not supposed to break, and this one is broken. So that's like significant, right?
Yeah, really strong is an understatement.
Okay.
Quindar is indestructible.
Okay. So the fact that it's
But that
broken
one
is a big deal.
Is a problem.
yeah.
Okay. Now
It's a
that's not
problem.
the same stone that Ishmael came out of, is it?
The floor where that she looked down and it was cracked.
No, didn't Rand have the stone in his hand? Because Moraine had it in her hand at the end, didn't she? When she was telling Lan about what happened, what transpired.
She had a piece in her hand
Okay.
from
Okay.
from the floor. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the prison.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. So what does that stone or that material, what does it do exactly?
It's
Or
it,
would that be spoilery?
what it doesn't do, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't break. It's
Okay.
easier to tell you what it doesn't do. It
Yeah.
doesn't break.
Okay.
It's difficult to make. It's very rare. They don't like they I would say they really don't like making it because it's indestructible, but there are times when they've needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Um that's why they used it to imprison the Dark One and the Forsaken,
Mm.
because they
Okay.
shouldn't be able to break out of it.
Mm.
Mm.
But
Mm, mm,
okay, but
mm.
when you got somebody like the Dragon Reborn walking around, I guess that might make things a little bit easier.
Lame son.
You know what? Stop it. Stop it. You just mad because he got the powers and you don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but no,
shout out to
it wasn't supposed to break. It's not. It does. It's not. It doesn't break.
Okay.
It
Okay.
doesn't break. She knows. So the poem was important, but she already knew about the Quindar.
Right.
So
Because she was
there was
literally
nothing.
there when
It
it
was there.
happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
And so there anything in the world that is made of that might be breaking, and that's not good.
Oh. Okay.
Like the tower.
The tower is not made of Quindar.
Okay.
Well, in the books, it's not.
Okay.
Okay. I
There,
can see where Mike would think that though, because I mean
yeah.
they refer to it as the White Tower, and that is very, very obviously
Yeah. It looked like it too. I was
a bright white stone. Yeah.
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 But okay, yeah. When
There
you say
there's
that,
a
so
very specific reason why Quindar was used for a specific thing, and now it's a problem that it's breaking.
okay. And see, I
Gotcha.
didn't even think about the fact that okay, if it broke in the floor, that could mean it's breaking everywhere else. But
Or
how would
weakening. Or
okay,
weakening.
okay. But yeah, because then how would he have gotten that piece? Because I'm pretty sure he didn't go to what is the eye of the world.
He's
So
not going to the
okay,
eye of the world.
so okay. So that's probably something we'll learn a little bit more about as this season goes on. You think? Because I don't remember. It's been a
If
while since I've seen the
the
TV.
way the way the show is tracking the significance of this may
Mm-hmm.
not be for another 2 seasons.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay,
Slow, yes.
okay, okay.
It
Well, I
depends on
mean,
how it depends on how fast they want to jump forward. It depends on
okay,
how much they're going to cut out, how much they're going to change. They've already changed a lot,
right.
but if they're gonna use this part of the story, then we're looking at Rand's got a Rand has a lot he has to do
Ah, okay,
before that is even significant.
okay,
The
okay.
Quindar.
And we
So
don't know exactly what Rand is doing because we literally only
we
saw
have
one shot of him in this episode, and that was because it was Beltane and he was putting the lantern up. So
punk ass.
you know
Yeah,
what?
shout out to Rand having the worst disguise ever. He's like, oh, I gotta hide out. I don't want anyone finding me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut my hair.
Well, I
Nobody will
mean,
Well, you
recognize
can't
me.
be like a 6'7" dude with red hair walking around and
He's
everyone's
still
looking
a
at you.
6'7" dude.
But the
but
hair's not red.
yeah, but depending on where he is in the world, that
He ain't got
nobody
no
should be
cloak
looking for him.
on. He ain't got no different clothes on. He out there bareheaded, still with the same eyes. The eyes, mind you, are the same. If like anyone sees those eyes, they're gonna be like, Rand, what the fuck?
But
Be
if
like,
he
I'm
is
not
on the
Rand.
other side of the world where people don't know him,
Right.
it won't matter as
He
much.
grew up he grew up in the Two Rivers.
Didn't they say that the dragon would draw people to him or draw whatever is going to happen to him or they'll be attracted to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be attracted to him because of his red buzz cut.
And that doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means.
Fine, whatever.
You just want to hate. And the man has barely he was in this episode for like 10 seconds. He hasn't even done anything to like elicit this strong reaction yet.
I got a whole season of stuff to hate him for last season. What are you talking about?
And you're talking like he has an Instagram where they can go look at his pictures and know who he is.
Fine. Okay, fine. I'm just saying.
He grew up in the Two Rivers. People 100,000 miles away do not know who he is.
All right, fine.
The only thing that would make him stand out would be the red hair because, dude, you got red hair just like Aiel. But later, other people have red hair than Aiel. So maybe he didn't have to shave his hair.
Yeah, and like he didn't even know who the Aiel were. So
no, and there are people all over the place who've never seen the Aiel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and just like there's a line in Outlander where Jamie Fraser, who is a redhead, his stepkids come in the room when he's with Claire, and one of them is red haired, and she was like, that little girl called you daddy. He said, I'm not the only redheaded person in Scotland. It's like Rand isn't the only redheaded person. He might not even be the only 6'7" tall red-haired person in that area. So
okay, him and Loyal. Okay, fine.
Loyal has a very distinct look about him. I don't think anybody will be mistaking him for anything other than what he is. So
shout
lay off Rand for a little bit.
Yeah. Shout out for Moraine for getting Bale in trouble for being greedy. He came in and said, were you followed? He was like, yeah. She's like, oh shit, get in your boat, go. He was like, the fuck you do? He's like, just get in your boat. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, because
for one ducat. For one ducat.
Right. But so the quote unquote people who are following him, not people at all. It's the what do you call them? The what?
Oh, I'm sorry. They're called Murdrel.
Yes, them.
Okay.
The things that came and whooped Moraine and Rand's ass at the end of the episode. Yeah, because he was like, yeah, them things following me with black cloaks. She was like, did you see their face? No, why? She was like, yeah, you need to run. You need to. She was like, go to jail, go directly to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Just get the fuck.
He was like, my boat can't go in the sea. She was like, well, stick to the shore. Just get the fuck on. I was like, damn.
Look, the way that her attitude changed from before he said he was being followed by people in black cloaks to afterwards. What is it we always say? People are not reading the room. He was not reading the room because the moment she shifted, I would have been like,
I'm out.
Yeah, she was like, hold up. What do those people look like they was following you?
Oh, dude. They got black cloaks. Did you see their faces? No. They kept their hoods up. Yeah, you want to go. Now, she could have really told him, your life is in danger. I need you to, but she trying to.
I'm sure he figured that out.
Look, if he survived, if he made it to the boat.
He make
because chances are he didn't. They found her.
No.
Yeah, that's what they were probably following him
to get
trying
to
find her.
Especially if I don't know how smart those things are, but if she's been having visitors over the last 6 months, like they were saying, they were like, oh, this is what, her 44th visitor or 40th visitor. If you have that many people coming to you for whatever it is that you're looking for, word of mouth travels. People are probably like, yeah, Moraine Sedai is looking for such and such. Like, they probably don't. Maybe they don't comprehend it, but the gossip is there. Whoever's controlling them is probably like, yeah, you need to follow this person and this person. You need to do this to try to find her. Because obviously she's staying put. Nobody's coming to look for her. She's sending out for people, which is kind of dangerous in and of itself. But that's probably one of the reasons why she's keeping Lan at arm's length. because
Mm-hmm.
she doing something that she ain't got no business doing. You have no powers. You have no friends right now. Not, I mean, not really. You got the people that you live with, but that's only four people. You kind of need to be a little more careful, Moraine, with who you inviting to the house. Not
She don't care.
Well,
She trying to
it's
get what
not
she need to get. She don't care.
it's it's not like the Mergel or a Phase. It's not like they talk to anybody
mm-hmm.
to get information. They're not intelligence gatherers,
Yeah.
but but they do have some tactical sense.
Okay.
So if they do notice that all these people are going and they may hear, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard. It's one of those things that okay,
Yeah.
your instincts are right because you're asking the questions. I don't know how smart they are. They ain't really smart, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, they're
Are they
smarter
more
than Charlie.
programmed?
And see, I don't.
Well,
I see from what I remember of last season. I don't think so much that they're programmed as much as they are given orders and they do know enough to follow orders. So that's why I was saying
yeah,
whoever is controlling them is probably saying, "Hey,
yes,
and especially if it's somebody like Ishmael who probably has a way to communicate with them telepathically if he's the one doing it, but whoever is
Okay.
controlling them or whoever they're working for, whatever the case may be, they probably have a way to communicate with them to where they
that sounds
understand.
that sounds like a good hypothesis. I mean, if
Notice
if
he didn't want to say theory.
This is a great theory.
hypothesis, because yeah, he knows Moraine is alive.
Mhm.
He knows that as long as Moraine is alive, she's going to try to fight them. And maybe he's like, you know what?
And try to figure out how to get her power back that he stole
Try
from her.
right. So he's communicating with the Murder. We know he has that power, right? He did
Mm-hmm.
it in the cave. I mean, he did it in the prison. So he probably is talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And fades or merger. Sometimes they call fades, but they're
Yeah,
merger.
I think they called him Phase last
Yeah.
season. Uh-huh.
Um, they are they're like the offspring or offshoot of Trollocs. They are a
Mm,
throwback to
Oh,
the human form. Like what it's
right.
a little weird, but
okay.
they're sort of human Trollocs.
Okay.
The more beastly offspring, they don't survive long. But
Okay.
the merge will do. And they're the ones that are sort of like the generals or leaders of the Trollic
Mm-hmm.
armies.
I do remember that.
Do you
Okay.
remember that? Yeah. So they have a little bit of sense,
Okay.
but it's probably because it's easier to communicate with them
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy for them to communicate with the Trollocs.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and that would explain why the Trolloc armies kind of sucked because the Forsaken got locked away and they left the Mergel in charge of the armies. But hey, whatever.
Okay.
But so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because you saw what happened in the end. Normally, if you're just doing hand to hand combat with them, is
It's a
especially when
done
you're
deal.
outnumbered, it should be a done deal.
Yeah.
But Land Land is a badass in the comic book. I mean, in the comic book, in the books, he's a badass. So if anyone
Yeah.
is going to survive that, it would be him.
But I mean,
It,
Moraine was not, she wasn't doing too bad either, especially considering she doesn't have her powers. I'm not saying that she was like, she wasn't Wonder Woman, but she held her own for a while.
okay, well,
She actually put
she
one of
did.
them down, and then the other two showed up, and she definitely does not have the skills that Land did, because when Land came up out that air and just started whoo, 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 I was just like, okay, this
If
is
I
what I'm
rem-
here for. But
if I
then he started
remember,
getting stabbed, and I started having
yeah,
problems.
if I remember my book Moraine would look at that and be like, I wouldn't be doing all that because that's what I got land for.
Yeah, but you've been treating Land like shit. So the fact that he
Oh,
even came to save her is just
yeah.
she does not deserve him. She does
Yeah.
not.
I can
He needs to go back to the two towers and go find Nynaeve, and they can go live
uh,
their happy life together because
yeah,
Moraine
Make
does
but
not
babies.
deserve him.
I feel like she's kind of doing. There's a movie with Matthew Broderick and either Meg Ryan or Sarah Jessica Parker. It was Meg Ryan, but it's like at the end of the movie. She was like yelling at him. She was like dissing him, trying to get him to leave. And she was on the plane. She saw a movie of. So she was looking at Lassie, and there's an episode of Lassie where Timmy is trying to get rid of him for his own good, like trying to get him just yelling at him like just go away. So I'm like, it really seems like she's trying to piss him off where he's just gonna be like fuck it, go
Yeah.
away.
Oh,
Maybe
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
it's like she's trying to protect him. She's trying to like keep him from getting hurt, but she doesn't realize that he's very well trained. He's a very well trained warder, and he's not going anywhere.
Oh,
Even
she
Right.
though,
knows this. She
And
knows
not
he's.
only
She
that,
knows
they've
this.
but
been
that's why
together
she's
for
trying so
20
hard.
years.
Yeah,
20 years. You think 6 months of you being an asshole is just gonna make him be like, okay, no, I'm gone. Especially considering that she is all but helpless right now. He's not gonna leave her like that.
what was that?
Maybe
6 months and one day.
if she got her powers back, he'd probably be like, you know what, deuces. I'm not dealing with this abuse anymore. Cause like the way she told him to close the door when the sailor guy came, door was like, bitch, what? And
Yeah.
it reminded me, or rather, I was reminded of it later on when Liandrin was having her little showdown with Nynaeve, and she was talking about the warders and their relationships with the Aes Sedai. She was like, they're nothing but glorified dogs. I was like, yep, that's exactly how Moraine has been treating Lan in this episode. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, not too much better than a pet. But that pet just saved her life. But he was
Yeah.
like,
She.
what are you
Got his
hiding
ass
from me?
whipped.
She. In. It's very. It's hard to kind of separate the show from the book, but for her, he. She doesn't really view him like a warder. Really,
Mm-hmm.
she did need him, but she really more or less was trying to save him from
Because of everything that happened with
that
the
has
kingdom and stuff
that
like
has
that.
happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
She's really so with the struggle for her is um not having her powers. She can't protect him,
Mm-hmm.
and so she's doing all these things. We Michelle and I just watched Star Trek the other day,
Mm-hmm.
2009,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Oh,
scene spoiler in there where
That is
um
not a spoiler. That is how long ago?
the scene where Spock is trying to deal with Kirk. If the Kirk
mm-hmm.
come back and Kirk
Mm-hmm.
is, they tell Kirk, you he's talking to Spock. Kirk is talking to Prime Spock on the planet. He's like,
Yeah.
you got to get him from in charge of the ship because he's emotionally compromised. He's
Yep.
like, no, he's
Uh-huh.
not. He's like, no, trust me. I
We
lost
just
my
lost our
entire
mother. Yeah.
place and mother.
Yeah.
I'm emotionally compromised,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and that's how Moraine is. She
Okay.
has lost her power. She can't feel the source anymore.
Yeah. She's lost a
She's
part of
emotional,
herself.
right? She's emotionally compromised.
Mm-hmm.
She's not
Basically, her reason
thinking
for
clearly.
being. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not thinking clearly. She's doing things that make it look like she's thinking clearly. She
Mm-hmm.
obviously has a plan, but as far as Lan goes and how she really feels about losing powers, she's not. She's emotionally compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask this question. So we know what happens when an Aes Sedai and water bond is completely broken because we saw that with Steppen last year after
Mm-hmm.
what's her name died. Like he literally really couldn't function without her because that bond is so strong. And I feel like when you're looking at the beginning of that episode and you see Moraine kind of in her solitude, just kind of taking in what has happened to her when she's in the tub and she's trying to make, she's trying to make the water warm like we've seen her do before. She can't do it. And she starts kind of crying and she's breaking down. Then on the flip side, you see Lan out in the field. He's practicing his swordsmanship and all this other stuff. But you also see him going through an emotional thing right there. So I was wondering, we know their bond is masked. That's not the same as being broken. It's just basically like, okay, it's got a little muzzle on it, it's got a little muffle on it, so you don't feel it as much. Can he still feel her at all with the bond being masked instead of broken?
I don't see. She masked it before she lost her powers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good question.
Okay.
Or would he be just getting just enough where it would just like drive him crazy, where he can't get what he's looking for from it?
See, masking only hides the feelings and emotions.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily see they don't do they I don't think they do that in the book. I can't remember. I didn't finish reading.
Okay.
But I would think the way it works is even if she's masking when she had her powers and she was masking it,
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't tell where she was.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't tell what she was feeling.
Okay.
But he was still getting the benefits of the bond.
Okay.
The increased stamina, the increased strength
and all that.
all the benefits of it, but he didn't have the emotional connection.
Okay, so he was just going through his own thing at the same time. They were just showing us that they were both going through something.
It is curious how this is working because is we'll find out more later.
Okay.
Because I have some suspicions about what's going on with her at this point.
Oh,
I mean, the audience should know we have seen the whole thing, but we're trying to talk about
that's
it.
the thing. I don't remember because it was so long ago, and I haven't gone back to rewatch it. So yeah, I'm still a little murky.
I am too, because it's been a while. Mm-hmm. But I have my suspicions about what's going on with him and why he hasn't gone into despair. Because if she lost her power and the bond is no more, that's similar to if she had died. Like she didn't untie the bond. She didn't take the stuff away. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, because she couldn't, and she can't mask it anymore because she doesn't have her powers.
Okay.
So it's just it's a little strange. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what's going on with the bond between. Okay. Is it because if her powers are gone, there shouldn't be a bond?
Okay.
Yeah.
That because I was just wondering.
It's weird.
If he was still able to feel like a tiny bit, or if it was just them kind of showing us a mirror image of what they were both going through.
Anything.
Okay.
Maybe it's subconsciously.
Maybe it's just instinct. I mean, they've been together for 20 years.
True, but maybe subconsciously because he couldn't feel her when she lost her powers. Mm-hmm. That maybe subconsciously to him it still feels like he's being masked. Okay. So then he wouldn't feel the loss. Okay. He wouldn't feel the disconnection because he's already dealt with her masking it and him being like right with her. Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't. It's not like she died and she's no longer there. Well, he knows where she is. Right. And he knows that she hides it from him. He still may feel like she's still hiding from him. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know? Okay. And it's fine. And also, as good a swordsman and athlete and physical condition he is, he probably wouldn't really notice if he's not exerting himself he probably wouldn't notice that he's not getting a benefit.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say some of those blows he took at the end, like he got stabbed several times. He got slashed. His tendons in his leg have been cut. It looked like because of the way that he was trying to get up, and he was still getting up, fighting, flipping, doing this and that, and I was just like, how? But yeah, if he's been benefiting from the bond for 20 years, I would think that some of that would still be kind of maybe in there, because I mean, I think if I remember correctly from the first season, when she was going to see the ambulancy in that little secret thing that they have, and she masked the bond, it was like, okay, yeah, I can't feel you, because obviously if she going in there to have sex with her girlfriend, he don't want to be feeling all of that, and she don't want him feeling all of that.
I
But yes, so it was just
mean,
one of those things. I was just kind of wondering. Well, I'm just let's not get into a whole consent conversation, right? But okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Side note, because I want to talk about this. It was so funny when Egwene went to go see what's her name.
Yeah, we're about to
oh my God, yes,
we're
that
about
was
to head to the tower
hilarious.
now. I was like, okay, we're gonna step away from Moraine and land for a little bit, because all I'm gonna say is this man almost died to protect you. You better get your you better get your shit together. So yeah,
Ain't
let's
gonna
go
do
to the
that.
tower, because another person who was kind of sort of getting on my nerves in this episode was Nynaeve.
Oh my God. Speaking of this episode being long, this episode seemed like Nynaeve was soaking through the castle for like 2 hours. Like every time she came on, she was soaking through the fucking. I understand. I get it. I get why she's doing it, because she's just like square peg, round holing this whole thing right now. Like for real. Like she just doesn't fit in. And it's like, but
But it's so crazy because she's being so nasty to Alana, who from everything that we saw in this episode, Alana has really been trying to help her and Egwene. She's being encouraging. She's like, it seemed to me like she was kind of being a little more favorited towards this side of the table than this side of the table. But I don't not Nynaeve is like, I understand there's a whole bunch of things that's going on. Rand is gone. Perrin is no longer there with them. Matt, they don't know where Matt is.
They think Rand is dead,
Land
right?
is all Land is
yeah,
gone.
everybody thinks Rand is dead.
They think Rand is dead.
Yeah. Land is gone. He's not there. And they've been there for 6 months, and like she said, all we've been doing is cleaning. She's trying to teach y'all other stuff, but you're not being receptive to it. When she drank that glass of dirty water, yes, that's exactly the reaction I had, and I actually had to cover my eyes instead of watching that, because I was like, that's just gross. I can't. I mean, I know it's not real dirty water, but still, it looked dirty enough, and I was just like, ew.
I mean, I understand like trying to be rebellious, but I got my limits. I'm not drinking shit water to rebel against you. Like, nah. I'll be like, look over there. Here, I drank it.
Yeah, I
yeah,
just,
I'm like,
I was taking it back to my room and be like, I'll figure it out. I'm not drinking it.
yeah, yeah. She was just she was really working my nerves in this episode too, except for when she was with Alana's two warders. So obviously she doesn't have an issue with them, but she has an issue with Alana, which I'm like, this woman is trying to help you.
But she doesn't
But
trust Aes Sedai.
you know what? She should have trusted Alana, because what happened? She ended up getting a dose of Liandrin, and Liandrin gave it to her, put her on her ass. I was like, okay, girl.
but no, I don't trust her. It's like,
you don't trust who, Alana or Liandrin?
Liandrin.
Oh, of course. I
mean,
don't think
she's like, we don't have followers because they just slow us down. I'm like,
no. Okay, so I can understand the meaning and the feeling behind what she said as far as with the warders and about, especially if I think I think there was a discussion from last season where she I think she had been abused by a man before, or
Mm-hmm.
she, something like
Yeah,
that.
something
So I
happened. Yeah.
understand her distrust of men. I understand why she prefers to be with a part of the sisterhood that doesn't have to deal with men or whatever. I get that. I get it. But I guess the whole tough love thing that she's trying to do with Nynaeve, I just don't see that working out so well for her, because you already have this woman who, by even your own admission, is one of the most powerful channelers you guys have seen in the last 1,000 years. And you are purposefully trying to piss her off to get her to use this power. Boo boo, that's not gonna work out good for you. It's
Well, I
not.
mean, Well, I mean, honestly, this is all Nynaeve's fault. If Nynaeve would actually try, because it's like she's so shell shocked and like so into inside herself that she's not trying. And it's like if she
I know.
would give like a little bit of effort, then Liandrin wouldn't have any ground to stand on against Alana when they were talking in the garden and they
Mm-hmm.
were saying she was saying, well, give her to me. I'll make her do something. But it's like if she would have shown some kind of something,
Mm-hmm.
then they would have been like, no, she's doing stuff. Just give her some more time. But she's
Yeah,
not
but the
doing
only
anything,
time
and
that she's showing the depth of her power is when Lan is being mentioned, because, or when it has anything to do with Lan, because in the last season
mm-hmm,
it was him almost dying when she
mm-hmm.
released her power. And in this one, Liandrin mentioned Lan something about him being with Moraine and blah 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 and not being there. And that's when she kind of went off and released that power. And then Liandrin kind of got her. She was like, yeah, I just cut you off with the source. How you like that? I mean, she literally just did to her what Ishmael did to Moraine. Cut her off from the source. Except hers was temporary. But again, I understand what you're saying, Mike, but my thing is, like, you know how they say it's never the loud people that you got to worry about. It's the quiet ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ones
Facts.
that you can sit there and push and push and push and push and push. And then when they finally explode, they're the ones who leave destruction in their path. She is pushing the wrong buttons with Nynaeve because, one, Nynaeve already don't like you. Period.
Yeah.
She might be being an asshole to Alana, but I don't think it's because she doesn't like Alana. I think she really just does not like her circumstances. She doesn't like being cut off from Perrin and Matt. Like I said, they're dealing with the fact that they think Rand is dead. Lan is gone. She's cut off from everybody that she really cares about. And she's surrounded by these other novices, these other sisters. And
Yeah.
Alana might be the only one treating them nice, because the other chick who was really kind of nasty and bitchy to Egwene when she threw the dish in her bowl, I was like, what the fuck is her problem?
Yeah.
But that's
The,
probably how all the other sisters are treating them. So I can understand her not wanting to, feel a little sisterly there, but
the thing is,
she is a bomb waiting to go off.
yeah, think about in the Two Rivers, she was a wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
She was the person that, or she was part of the group that everybody looked up to, that everyone looked to for guidance
Mm-hmm.
and protection. She only went with them to protect them.
Yeah.
And in her mind, she has kind of failed.
Yeah.
Rand is dead. Matt is in the wind. Perrin is in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And she's here where all the work she did to get to the position of being wisdom, and y'all gonna start her at the bottom.
Yeah.
You're so she has all that going against her. You're
Mm-hmm.
telling her how powerful she is. She uses her power, and it's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's scary to her.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because she
mean?
doesn't know how to control it.
She doesn't know how to control it. And she's also, as a wisdom, she's afraid if she uses her power, she's gonna lose control. You know, and she's in a real tough situation. You know, and she doesn't trust Aes Sedai. She was raised not to trust them. You know, and it's very hard being here with them. And the only reason why she probably is still hanging around is because
Egwene is there.
Egwene is there. And if she can't protect everybody else, she can at least stay there to protect Egwene.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and she's not gonna let these women boss her around when she's the one who's done the bossing.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that was important to her for her character in the book. She was bossy.
Okay.
She was bossy. Everybody, and she did not like the way that I said I talked to her.
Yeah,
No,
and I don't blame her. I mean, yeah, but that's why I said Alana is the one. She seems to be the only one. Like, yeah, she has a little bit of a snark to what she's saying, but it's only because she knows Nynaeve is challenging her, and she's pushing back a little bit. But it's just like at some point, what she's doing now that's not going to work. She's going to lose control. As much as she's trying not to do it, and I'm not doing it, and giving her look, she can't.
Especially with Liandra around, she's definitely Leandra's going to push her over the edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know what? If I was Liandrin, because this is the one thing I will say too, Nynaeve probably also has it in her mind, because everybody keeps saying it. I'm the most powerful channeler in the last 1,000 years. Y'all don't want to fuck with me. Leave me the fuck alone. That's probably what she's thinking in her mind.
Yeah, I think they probably shouldn't have told her that. But it's like because it's like if you're going into something and so they already said you're the best, but they're basically doing the Aes Sedai version of Mr. Miyagiing them, getting them to wax on, wax off, and like sand the floor and paint the fence and all this shit. And it's like, and you're like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like I don't want to do all this. And especially just like you said, since she was a wisdom and in charge of people, she's like, it's really hard to go from that to being to not being to having someone over you and telling you what to do. No matter how nice or how mean they are, it's like you've lost a certain cachet, a certain level, and that's hard for anybody. And you're like, well, I just saved you. Why am I working for you? Why aren't we contemporaries? Why are you like my boss? I mean, that's hard.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about Egwene. That poor baby. I thought
in this episode, she walked by when they were having their little threesome thing too, right?
She didn't walk by. She was in the room.
She walked in the room.
The meal
Yeah.
But as we can tell, Alana don't care. Alana is just like, okay,
Alana's about it.
Whatever's gonna feel good, when it's gonna feel good, how it's gonna feel good, whoever's gonna feel good is just, hey, that's what we doing.
Let's go with it. That's
what we doing.
Yeah.
And when Egwene came in to talk to her later about not being able to do the weaves, and she was sitting there, she was eating that pomegranate. She was just like, I was like, oh my God, if there wasn't such an age disparity, I would think that she was trying to seduce Egwene, because she's just looking at her. But no, I think she's like trying to get Egwene to kind of loosen up, because I mean, you can tell it. Egwene is kind of sprung a little tight, especially because of the fact that Rand is gone, because she thinks he's dead. Like, that was the love of her life. So she's just sitting here like, yeah, she probably needs to join Alana in that bed for a session.
I mean,
but that poor baby, she looked like she was horrified. She was like, okay, you know what? That's a little too much for me.
So I think we're having two different conversations.
Right.
That was hilarious.
Thank you so much for the advice. Yeah, I'm gonna go, and Alana's just looking at her like, And she also started she did that with Nynaeve too, when she was talking about picture picture of what did she say? Picture a rosebud, picture a
A
blossom.
picture of
It's pink, it's
yeah.
supple. And then he was like, okay, I got it.
I mean,
I love Alana's character.
Alana's a green one, right? Is a
Yeah,
green
she's a
Aes
green
Sedai, right?
Aja.
Yes.
Green Aja, yeah.
Earth, yes. I love her character. She
Earth.
and
That's why she's dirty. That makes
she
perfect sense. Okay.
you know what? But
Wow.
she made this episode fun.
She
She
did. I
made this
love her.
episode fun.
I love
Her
her.
and the two warders, I cannot remember their names right now. But when they
Oh,
were
that's not.
sparring with Nynaeve and they were talking to her about their purpose and you know, they figured out that she's not doing well in her lessons. And they're like, look, here's the thing. You need to figure out why you came here and you need to let that be your purpose. You can't just be here because people are telling you you need to be here. You need to want to be here and you need to know why you're here. And I'm sitting here like, she here because of Land. That's literally it. She don't want to be an Aes Sedai. She here for him. She here for Egwene. She here for her people. That's it. That's it. But I like that she has them to talk to because I feel like even though she and Egwene are from the same town, they're very close. I feel like they're kind of on two different levels right now because Egwene seems to really want to learn what she needs to do to be an Aes Sedai, and Nynaeve just she doesn't. I think Nynaeve is just like, can we just go back to the two rivers and forget all this other shit happened? I think she would be really happy if they could just do that. If they could just if Rand could come back, if they could find Matt and just go back home, I think for her she would be happy, except for the fact that Land wouldn't be there, but he could come and visit, you know. But yeah, I just where you going? I that poor baby. I
I
just
think, but I think Egwene's gonna be fine, be all right quicker than Nynaeve is gonna be.
yeah, because like I said, she actually wants to be an Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's kind of where she wants to be right now. She's she's I think she's struggling because of everything that's gone on with Rand being gone, Matt being gone, Perrin being gone. Like it's just her and Egwene now, and she might be feeling a little lost, but ever since Moraine kind of put that bug in her head that, you don't listen to the wind listens to you. You could be an Aes Sedai. And even what Alana says in this episode when she tells Nynaeve, she was like, Egwene, when you guys were in, was it not Tarvalon, where was the other place? Where they defeated the Trollocs. But anyway, wherever that place was, she was like, that's that sister, the princess, the princess had to draw from your power in order to defeat the Trollocs. Not you guys drawing for her. She drew from you. She was like, Egwene could be one of the most powerful Aes Sedai there. Then she turned around and said, Nynaeve, you could be 10 times more powerful. And you saw Egwene's face. She was at first she was kind of like, yeah. Then she was like, oh wait. It's like she realized how powerful Nynaeve is because again, Nynaeve isn't really going around bragging about it. She's not trying to use her powers or anything like that. So I think for Egwene to hear that, like, wait, so I could be powerful, but she could be 10 times more powerful than me. She's probably looking at Nynaeve like, what the fuck are you doing? Mm-hmm. So we can do some great stuff and go home or whatever. But yeah. Okay. Where do I want to go next? Oh, I guess we need to talk about Perrin because
yep, my favorite werewolf.
No,
he is not.
No, Perrin is
Perrin is what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Did you say he's trash?
Go ahead.
Did you say he's
no,
trash?
you're not. No, we're not doing that.
No,
we're not doing that.
No,
Perrin's my dog. I love Perrin.
My dog. I see what you did there.
Is why the Perrin hate?
It's not.
Why you hate?
Okay, I'm gonna disclaimer. It is very difficult to separate the book from the show.
Okay.
I'm really trying. It's very difficult. I'm not a fan of this characterization of Perrin.
Okay.
Understand because a lot of Perrin stuff in the book is introspective, is inside
Mm-hmm.
voice, is thoughts, is descriptions of feelings. You can't really do that on a TV show. He
Right.
has
Gotcha.
to act that way, and you realize, man, if he's acting the way Perrin feels in the book, why would anyone like him? Because first of all, let her go. Take the ring off, put it on the thing, and let the woman go. She's gone. She's not coming back.
Yeah, but
You
you
know,
know
you
what?
got to
It's
move
been
on,
less than a
bruh.
year.
But you got to move on.
Yeah,
You
but
got to.
you got people in real life who
I
take
know you
years to go
do.
through that process.
Hey, I totally understand. But this is a science. This is a fantasy
Okay.
TV show.
Okay.
Let her go,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because
I don't think
I
it's
understand
her.
it's
I don't think it's
difficult. It's difficult
necessarily.
for him because he feels like it's his fault that she's
Yeah,
dead.
that's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's
Because
necessarily that he can't let go of her. I think he can't let go of his guilt,
he's
and
got
I
to let
think
Yeah.
go of the guilt.
that's a reminder for him.
He's got to let it go. It's only slowing him down. And also, I need for him to get with the program. Why is he trying to fight all these signs and signals to him? And it seems like he's just, I don't know. There's
Yeah,
a
when you
thing.
have another black
Okay,
man walk in front of you with the gold eyes, you need to be asking some questions like, bro,
ask
can
some
we have a
questions. Okay.
conversation?
I'm saying, yeah.
So there's this thing I always tell all my friends, and I tell the kids I work with: your emotions always follow the path of least resistance. So yes, he's feeling a lot of guilt about his wife, Lila. I think was his name.
Layla.
He's Layla. He's feeling a lot of guilt about that, and he's not the kind of person to direct all that energy on himself. So all those emotions have to go somewhere else. So he seems like he's angry all the time because he's lashing out at everybody.
I mean, he literally said it in this episode. He was like, I have so much rage, especially because Padan Fain was not necessarily a trusted friend, but someone that they knew, someone that they considered friendly and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So this is before we had grief counseling and trauma
of
therapy,
course.
but he
Right.
literally needs to sit down and talk to someone about his guilt and
Have
his
you
feelings.
noticed that there is no trauma therapy, there's no counseling in any sci-fi, fantasy, whatever we watch? There's
Yeah.
none, none,
None.
none,
None whatsoever.
none.
None. The only time we
I
ever see
mean,
it is when uh Thor was it no, when Thor was talking to Banner, he's like, no, was that Iron Man? He's like, I'm not that kind of doctor.
yeah, that was Iron
Oh
Man 2.
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, therapy isn't sexy unless it's a woman and a gangster in New Jersey for some reason. Like, it's not interesting.
But
but
they
but
need it. That's something we always talk
They
about.
do.
yeah.
Characters
They
need
really
it.
do.
But he did I remember he did talk to someone about it, didn't he? I think he
Yeah,
did say something.
he talked to I can't think of what his name is. The guy who is the leader of the group that Perrin is traveling with. He was
Oh,
the
Oh,
guy,
Domenico.
huh?
Domenico.
Yeah.
Domenico.
Wait.
The Witcher?
Yes, that's Domenico.
Is that Domenico?
Yes, it
It
is.
sure
Domenico is the
is.
Oh my,
leader.
wait
I'm
a minute.
100% positive. I looked
I've
it
been
up.
trying to figure
I
out who
saw
he
him.
was.
No, because I saw him and I was like, he looks really fucking familiar. So I looked him up. I was like, motherfucker, that's Domenico.
Yep, you're right. Because you know what? I remember when the casting announcement came out, and we were talking about it because we were actually
Yeah.
still recording Discovery of Witches at that time.
Witches, yeah.
God damn it, that is Domenico, isn't it?
It is. We got a vampire and a werewolf. That shit is dope as
You know
shit,
what?
man. I am
Perrin is
very
not a
happy about
werewolf.
that.
Didn't you say he's not a werewolf, Anthony?
He's
He's
not a
not a
I
werewolf.
know he's not a
werewolf.
werewolf. It's just fun just
He's not a
like
werewolf.
seeing Anthony shake his head at me. But yeah, I love this. I love it. It makes me look at it more because, like, this confession, I didn't get through the whole season last year, so I'm kind of watching this brand new.
Mhm.
Like I got like halfway through this season 2. So, but he's like one of my favorite parts of the whole thing,
Yeah.
of the parts that the season I saw, because like I was a fan of his in Discovery of Witches, so it's really good seeing him again.
Domenico. Oh my
It is fucking
god.
debate. It damn sure is.
How did I not? How did I not?
That beard.
How
How did you
did
not recognize that
I?
beard? Yes. How'd you not recognize that beard on that jawline?
But I just kept looking at him like I know him. I feel like a bad fangirl now. Bad fan.
Well, you should.
Oh my god, that is totally.
but yeah, he Perrin needs some serious dose of therapy, just like Matt. They need help.
Matt needs an exorcism. Matt doesn't need therapy.
Matt needs to kill Liandrin. That's what Matt needs to do. Matt needs to kill Liandrin and get free.
But let's just stay on this.
The fact that she's sitting there reading the letter.
Hold on, we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's stay with Perrin for a second. Let's stay with Perrin
and Loyal.
Loyal.
Loyal's my dog. I love Loyal. Loyal is like.
I was gonna say that's not. I don't think that would be like that. That would not be the politically correct thing to say because Loyal does not look like a regular human.
Look, man, I wasn't even going there.
I'm just saying.
I was not even going there. Jeez. But yeah, Loyal's the homie. He's the homie that'll tell you what you. He's kind of like Drax. Like he'll tell you what you want to hear. He'll tell you what you need to hear, and not really think, oh, I probably shouldn't say it like that.
He'd make a good therapist. That's who Perrin needs to talk to.
He actually would, and I
agree.
And I think it's good that they're traveling together because I think, especially because he knows a little bit about Perrin's background, maybe not a lot, but he knows enough to know that he was close to Egwene and Nynaeve. He's close enough to know that he suffered a great loss with Rand, quote unquote, dying, with Matt kind of being off grid or wherever it is that he is. So I think he's a good balance for Perrin because, like you said, Anthony, Perrin is angry all the time. Loyal is happy all the time. He's always in a good mood. He always has something positive to say. And
he's a hippie.
I think he's
a tree hugging hippie. That's what
he literally is.
He's a
what is it with y'all tonight?
Hippie.
Oh my god.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I've got some good friends who are tree hugging.
Some people get offended by tree hugging.
They have the best weed.
He's kind of like Ferdinand the Bull.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay.
Like we're talking about a fantasy show at damn near 10 o'clock at night. This is what happens.
So yeah, Perrin. So I need for him to move. Okay, I was gonna save this to the end. But I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out the way because I'm gonna forget. Watching intellectual property that I've already having read the books, knowing where the story is kind of supposed to go. I'm an impatient person.
Okay.
Right. I'm impatient. I'm looking at this. I'm like, these characters, they've got things they need to do. All right. They got places they got to go. They have roles they have to fulfill.
Yeah, I remember you saying this when we went over it the first time.
Right.
You were like,
can we get some stuff that starts them where they need to be?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got Matt in this situation. I don't see how this is going to have Matt end up where he's supposed to be. What Perrin's going through, maybe, he has to learn about the wolf thing and whatnot. I got you. Rand, we got 3 seconds of Rand doing what the fuck?
Lighting a lantern.
Egwene's Nynaeve is being stubborn. She ain't moved. I'm missing some character development. Is what I'm missing. I'm missing, and we watched this whole episode where basically nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right. The episode ends. They're all still in the same place.
Yeah.
Nothing changed. And that's my biggest problem. We're only gonna get what, 8 episodes? Is it 10?
Yes.
8? And come on, we don't have much. And you've talked about this before with the other shows. Y'all are giving us 6 episodes and don't go nowhere. You get four episodes of going nowhere and then 2 episodes of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
So, come on, guys. You've
Yeah, we
got
only got seven more episodes. Yep.
right. Just go ahead and move the story forward. It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It's really not. It seems like you're
Especially
drawn
when you
out.
got so many moving pieces
A lot of moving
to the
pieces in
story.
so many different places.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
they got a lot of crap they gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a sweeping epic. The final battle is coming. Got to get moving. And we didn't go nowhere in this episode. We
Yeah.
really didn't learn anything in this episode.
Just that what Perrin apparently has the ability to see echoes of what happened, because when they pull up to that village and everybody is slaughtered, he has like a vision of a little girl who escaped. And the guy was like, yeah, there was a child that escaped. And I'm like, how can Perrin do that? Yeah, I don't think a werewolf can do
Oh,
that, Mike.
we've seen it
You
before.
never know.
We've seen it
It
before.
could
We
be a
saw
latent trait.
in in the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, when they were looking for Merry and Pippin,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Aragon is looking around like, oh wait, this happened, and then they scrambled over here. It's just that they put bodies with it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he was essentially doing the same thing.
Well,
He
he
had an
was
instinct.
tracking. That's different.
Well, he still could. He still did the same thing though. He could kind of figure out what happened,
Yeah,
right, based on
figure
how
out is
things looked.
different, but Perrin
I
actually
think.
had an echo.
I think that was a vision, a visual interpretation of what he was doing. It was a
Okay.
lazy
Mm-hmm.
kind of way of doing it. It was a visual.
Okay.
He wasn't actually seeing what happened. It's just
Okay.
that that's what he thought. And we've seen other TV shows do it. Like, oh my god, some do it better than others. If you remember Mission Impossible, when Ethan was figuring out what happened, he was imagining all the different ways his team died and how
Yeah.
Phelps killed him. Spoiler.
But okay, but
But
see,
or
that's
we
not
watch if you watch like Elementary or any multitude of Sherlock Holmes things, they do
mm-hmm.
the same thing. They walk in and they're like, okay, based on what happened, this happened and this happened. It wasn't
Yeah, it's
like
like all detective procedurals, where it's like they go
right,
through the crime. Yeah.
right. That's all. They were just trying to show that he has an instinct for that, and it was a cool visual. But maybe I can say, okay,
see,
well, since he's a Taviran, maybe he can see echoes. But
and
then
that's
the
what I
other
was
guy,
wondering
but the
because
other
like
guy is a wolf. The wolf guy,
mm-hmm.
he did the same thing. He's not a Taviran.
Yeah.
That's
But
just
see, the
something that
reason
they could
why
do.
I was thinking it was that because like even in the examples you just named, like it's different when you already know what you're looking for. Like, okay, let's say like the detective procedurals. Usually you're recreating the steps to a crime and you have like a body here. So you already know what this person looks like and you could kind of visualize what happened. But the way this happened for Perrin in this episode, he saw someone specific. He saw a specific little girl, like exactly what she looked like, and he didn't know that a child had escaped. He just saw that vision, and then the guy was like, "Yeah, a child escaped," and it just happened to be that child. That's why I was thinking he was maybe has some kind of power related to whatever it is that he's going through with his animalistic eyes and all this other stuff, whatever this transformation is about to be. I was just thinking maybe that was one of the powers. But I mean, if he couldn't do that in the books, that might be different. But of course, they're changing a lot from the books to the show. So,
Well, without giving away too much, it's not necessarily a power,
okay.
more or less part of his nature of what he's becoming.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay,
I'm just,
you're trying not to
yeah,
spoil.
I'm
I
trying
know.
not to
I know.
spoil,
Okay.
but it wasn't like he was recreating something that maybe someone had already seen
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a memory
Okay.
and
Okay.
not necessarily powers of intuition.
Okay, so we won't expound on that anymore. We'll just
Okay.
kind of wait and see how the season
So
progresses.
just say you are onto something. It is a part of what he's becoming.
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't necessarily call it a power, just more or less part of his nature.
Okay. 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 That makes sense. Okay. Let's see. Do we have anything else about this episode that we need to talk about? Oh, okay. Yes. Liandrin having Matt. And I know she has Matt because Moraine was the one who sent the message saying they need to be on the lookout for this guy. And when the person said, "Who do I give the message to?" and she said the Red Aja, I said, "Oh Lord, they're gonna kill Matt." But I didn't think she would have him kill Matt. I know that she probably just intended for them to hold him. Now, whether she intended for them to hold him for 6 months, I don't know. But I will say this. One, they did recast the character of Matt. I'm happy to say that it really didn't make that much of a difference to me. Like I feel like he came in and we didn't get to see a lot from him in this episode, but I feel like he'll be okay. You know.
Yeah.
Um the
I
other
almost didn't really tell there was that much of a
he
difference.
just looked like he just maybe shaved
Yeah.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had less hair. The other thing is I'm glad to see that Matt still is kind of holding on to his sanity right now because I can imagine being locked in a house with Liandrin every day for 6 months. I would probably be ready to throw myself off the tower. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying, I do not like that character. She is horrible. I hate her. And she grates my nerves. But Matt is, I feel like Matt is not going to be there too long. The fact that he was even able to make a lantern for Beltane, hide it, and she not have any clue about it. I was like, okay, Matt still has his wits about him, probably even more so now that he's been so separated from that dagger for so long. It's like maybe now he's thinking like himself again instead of being corrupted by the dagger from last season. So I was like, yeah, Matt's probably gonna find a way to get out of there. We got to remember Matt is a con artist. He has a way of getting out of kind of sticky situations and figuring things out. So I don't think he's going to be with Liandrin for long. But I thought it was so cruel that she sat there and read Perrin's letter and she omitted all mention of him in the letter. Like, oh, he didn't even mention you. I was like, you try to turn him against them. I don't like you, and I hope you get what's coming. I don't like that character.
Treacherous.
Stand her.
All I'm gonna say about Matt is, you know, anyone who's listening who's read the books knows that Matt is probably the most popular character. He's probably the fan favorite of people who read the books. And it it's kind of disheartening because you said something interesting. Matt is a con artist.
Mm-hmm.
What makes Matt such a good gambler and confidence game artist is he never loses.
Mm-hmm.
His Taviran nature is that luck is always on his side.
Yeah.
Even in the worst of situations, he is like, if something terrible happens to him, it was for a reason. He's lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, and I know they didn't write the character this way. He started out, it seems like, as a loser. He always was losing at stuff, and he owed people money.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a problem for me.
Okay.
Because I know they're gonna change it and make it different, but there are things that are gonna happen to him simply because he's a lucky ass motherfucker.
Okay.
There are
Okay.
things that are
Yeah,
gonna
because
happen to him that
we talked about that in the first season, right?
yeah, there are things that he's going to do that happens because of his luck, being in the right place at the right time.
Oh,
And
okay. Yes. Okay. I
you
do
you
remember. I
have
do
to
remember a little bit of his
yes,
trajectory.
you have to explain. And the thing is, I was talking about this with someone earlier. If I'm writing a book and I have a character at this point that has to make a decision about something.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for my story to progress, I need for him to make a decision in a specific way that doesn't match anything that he's done previously.
Right.
Right. And I don't have any setup for him to make this change.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he going left? Because his entire life, he's always gone right.
Mm-hmm.
Did I give you anything to make you think that he would go left?
Mm-hmm.
No. So Matt, all of a sudden he's gonna get lucky. Oh, his luck just changed. You told us in the beginning he was a Taveran, but you didn't explain what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We talked about
Significant.
that last season
Talked
too.
about that.
Okay.
And one of the most appealing things about Matt is that he's lucky.
Mm-hmm.
That he gets so freaking lucky, and he just always happens to be right on time and right place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other thing about Taverns, they could always feel where each other were, no matter how far away they were.
I remember you
I
saying
told you,
that too.
and they would know that Rand was alive. They just wouldn't know where he was.
Okay.
Oh, I can kind of feel him tugging me to, because that's what Mike said earlier. Aren't people supposed to be attracted to him or feel his Taveran nature draws people to him that he needs?
Okay.
That are supposed to be with him, that are supposed to be doing things for him. They feel his draw, they feel his pull, and the decisions they make sometimes, like, God damn it, I'm doing this because of fucking Rand. You know what I mean? No matter how
Another
hard
reason not to
they
like his
fight it,
ass.
right? No matter how hard they try to fight it, I don't. You know, there was a time when Perrin couldn't stand Rand, but you know what? He still did things because he knew it would help Rand.
Okay.
You know, and this first episode, I would have liked for them to just give me some of that, because otherwise I don't really know where they're going with this story.
Okay.
I really don't. And I don't know. I don't think, and I try not to watch it as a book reader, and I thought I made that decision last year. But even as trying to look at it through the eyes of a non-book reader, it it just seems a little strange. Some of the things that's happening don't really add up.
Yeah.
And I can't really see where it's going.
Yeah.
Because they spent so much time doing nothing.
It's almost like we're on the sacred timeline, and they're like everybody is branching out into different branches, and you're just like, how are they going to come back together and make the story make sense when they're all doing this? They're just kind of all over the place. But yeah, okay. Oh my God, I'm sitting here. He's in the background. I did not know how I did not get that this was.
I don't know how you did either. I could have swore we talked about this like last.
We
talked about this
did,
before.
but like I said, this was 2 years ago. So I watched it tonight, and it was just kind of like, he looks so familiar. Anyway, do we have any final thoughts on this episode? So basically, we're just like, okay. So basically, we're like, this episode was slow. They had a lot of stuff going on, but it moved slow. And we need them to pick up the pace and start giving us some story.
Yeah. So I hate when people say that all Black people look alike, but shout out to Gary Beadle and Johan Myers, who plays Padan Fain, and Ellie Elias. Because when I saw Elias the first, I was like, I saw both of them. I'm like, have we seen them in the same room? Because I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of got that. I was like, are they brothers? Are they related? I kind of wondered that as well.
Yeah, it's like their pictures on IMDb is just like, it's like the same guy in the light and in the dark, and I'm just like,
and one with long hair and one with short hair.
No, they both have short hair in their IMDb pics, which is weird too. I'm like, they look exactly the same.
Oh, and that's I'm like, funny.
Why can't one see? We just trying to be free. Like, damn.
You know what? Y'all have been on a roll tonight.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I just wanted to shout out to the guy. What's his name? the one guy that was just aggravated the whole time, Uno.
Uno.
I'm like, I'm like,
I'm
you're
gonna
not gonna
like
last
Uno.
long. I don't think he's gonna last long because he just all he does is complain. I'm like, oh, you get ready to go.
But I like him because Uno speaks
Yeah.
his mind. I like him.
Real quick, since we're talking about Uno, last year Michelle and I went to JordanCon, which
Mm-hmm.
is the convention for the Wheel of Time. And we actually got to see Guy Roberts, who plays Uno,
Nice.
and
Oh,
he is hilarious.
okay.
He told some wonderful stories. He's really, really good. And it was cool watching the show because I hadn't watched the show since Jordan Con.
Mm-hmm.
So now knowing about him and seeing him speak and talk about the show and the stuff behind the scenes, it was really cool to see Uno
Mm-hmm.
and remember those moments. But Jordan Con was really
Where is
good.
Jordan Con?
Here.
It's here. Where
Like we're here.
where was it at? It
It's at the
was
Century Marriott, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay. The one
Oh,
right there
Crown
off of
Plaza. The Crown Plaza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it Ashford Dunwoody? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Okay.
Yeah. But it
Look
was
at
a
one of them
really
hotels. We have so many cons here now in
yeah,
Atlanta.
it was a
Oh, maybe.
really here's a plug for the Jordan Con. If you like Wheel of Time and Robert Jordan, it is really, really good convention. It's a nice small convention and it's really a lot of people who are into Wheel of Time.
Okay.
It's really cool. And a lot of I forgot what they call the people that read the books before
Mm-hmm.
the books come out. There are a lot of them there.
Oh, okay.
They have their little get together there.
Okay.
So it
Oh,
was
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pull it up to see when Jordan Con is this
it's
year.
April because I think we already reserved rooms because we're going again.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
April
Wait.
April 25th and 27th through 27th.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So so for those of you listening, yeah, Jordan Con is going to be April 25th through the 27th
Okay. Here in Atlanta. Okay.
here in Atlanta at the Crown Plaza Raviala or whatever, however you say it.
Okay.
Uh,
Mike, you had something to
oh
say?
yeah. Right. Shout out to Ivan and Maxim, who were the two warders that were fighting with Nynaeve.
Yes, that's their names.
Like they were funny. It's just like, yeah, I fell in love with a warder. He's like, yeah, I fell in love with an Aes Sedai. He's like, I
Like,
always
you
come in
always make
second
me feel like a third wheel.
or third wheel.
I
They
don't
were
know. You didn't
funny.
look like no third wheel in that bedroom when Egwene was in there.
I don't know. Alana seemed to be in firm control of that.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah.
Firm control.
You know
Yeah.
what?
This next
I was trying to avoid doing that, and you just did it. We're just on a roll tonight.
this
I think it's
next episode
past.
needs to
Look, I
speed
think
up.
it's past all our bedtimes. That's why.
It really is. But this next episode needs to speed up, like for real. Like
Yeah.
for real.
Hopefully it will. So
I'll need to watch this like four times. Like watch it in four sections. It's like this is not a football game. I need to watch it at one sitting, not in four quarters. Like,
yeah,
dang.
yeah. So okay. Well, on that note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel. And you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.